He's on one of the talk shows. And he talks about how when he was in office, he sent someone to go try to dig up information on UFOs.
Webster Hubble. He sent a guy named Webster Hubble. Yeah.
From the Hubble Space Telescope?
No, I don't know. I think his name was Webster.
Bill Clinton says sent agents to Area 51 to look for aliens.
Well, that's a weird
He's talking
quote.
to James Corden. That's hilarious, talking to that guy.
That's a weird quote.
I think Reggie asked him. Reggie Watts.
Oh,
that's right.
That was recent. That was recent. Reggie asked him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's talked about it before. You know, at one point, the story goes that he wanted to get the information out.
Yeah, but it's that the president doesn't have nearly as much access to information as we'd like to think they do.
Right.
Probably because someone like Trump can become president. Loose cannon in there, why would you give him all the data? He's only going to be there for 4 years or 8 years, right?
Yeah, I heard he was briefed. But
Trump was briefed?
I heard he was, but he was given like the super simple version.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think... Totally.
Yeah, and all he talked about it. He said, I wish I could talk. I can't talk. I can't tell you. I'd like to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to imagine that someone like Bush Sr., who was head of CIA, and then his son, some high-level understanding of this as a national security issue, right?
Yeah. The thing, even if he does have that understanding, what do you do with it?
Right.
Like, what do you do if they come to you and they say, this is what we know? I mean, do you feel like you have this obligation to release it to the public? Because it's not going to change much. They're not going to have any control over it. At the worst case scenario is people go crazy. The best case scenario is it sort of prods these agencies to release more, and we get more transparency, and we get more of an understanding of what's real and not real. And then perhaps more people will come forward with real stories.
Well, is there anything in your mind that would... I always thought there's nothing that could be said that would make worth not telling the basics. That was always Bob's thing. You don't got to go into the proposal. Just tell them the basics, right? Is there anything in your mind of why you wouldn't tell the public the basics?
Well, I mean, they've already kind of told basics now. But previous to this, I would say the one thing that I would say I would worry about is people losing their shit and society falling apart, and maybe some people capitalizing on the fact that people have become very vulnerable.
Do you think people would lose their shit if we were told UFOs are real, that we have a couple of them in our possession, at least a couple. Let's say we got 24. They're real, and we got
24.
Let's just put a number. They're real, 24. Okay. Is that like, what are people going to do? Like, stop going to work?
They got to demand that information immediately.
Right.
And so it's very intrusive. It's going to get in the way of understanding and examining these things, because you're going to have to somehow or another prepare some sort of talk where you have a slideshow and you show what we have and what we don't have and what we know and what we don't know.
Right.
And then also, if we're not the top dog, if we have to admit that there is something that's so superior to us that it can avoid detection, that it's here constantly, they've probably been here forever, and that these things, whatever they are, have the ability to shut down our nuclear weapons. They have the ability to control, essentially whatever they want to. They can shut down the power grid. They can do whatever they want.
I always wonder what that thing was doing that Fravor saw, the Tic Tac. Like, it wasn't like, hey, buddy, and just came up to him, hey, how you doing? It was doing a job. It was just out there with other ones doing something. And there was something, remember he said the cross-shaped thing underneath the boiler? Like, the first words he ever said to me about it was like, not physically, but something was occurring.
Right.
It's killing me. What was it doing? What was the job it was doing? That didn't about us. He happened on it because he was targeted in on it. It got curious about him. Boom, noticed him, he said, and then mirrored him, and then bam, shot off to his cap point, which you've talked about. Crazy.
Right. Yeah.
What was it doing out there?
Right.
What are the UFOs here doing?
Well, are they speculating as to what they think that thing might have been doing?
I've never heard anything that makes any sense, man.
What's weird is that it's so close to military base. That's one of the things that made me skeptical about whether or not it was ours.
I wish it was ours, dude. That's the thing. Like, even the 2019 is, head of the Navy's like, we're looking into this. I know for sure AP Task Force, which was another interim program that was really good, actually. For sure, these are not ours. The 2019 swarms, they're not our assets.
For sure.
For sure. Like to current day, today, still that is the understanding that they are not ours. So like, whose the fuck are they?
Right.
Yeah. So,
and if they're China's, doomed.
Okay, so here's a lie that was propagated through the media, and I watched it like a slow-moving fucking train because I had the information, absolutely went against this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People said a ship called the Bass Strait was what was launching these, it's like a international company or whatever, like, you know, these Chinese, you know, whatever, drones. You know, that was kind of the lie that started spreading through the media. Well, I'll tell you, man, there was an investigation of the Bass Strait in port. It was in Long Beach far before this activity subsided. So this lie started being pushed through mainstream media that this was the source of these drones in 2019. It's like they're trying to just make it all go away. The UAPTF, our government, did an investigation on that ship while it was in port the day after. But I have talked to sailors who their job at the time of these swarms, I'll just say from the Paul Hamilton, is another ship that was involved. They were watching the Bass Strait to make sure they were not the origin of these launches and landings. But that lie has now been pushed. It's weird to me. It's weird people play with that. I've been calling out the Bass Strait, you know, on Twitter, whatever, being like, were you conducting espionage?
Do you think that it's weird, or you think it's normal for people to try to find some sort of rational terrestrial origin for these things? And then they just dismiss people like yourself that are heavily invested in the UFO being extraterrestrial.
But I'm not.
Right.
No, I'm not, man.
I am.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. The full answer might be cooler than that. So
right.
I'm not gonna put all my money on that.
Well, I should say extraterrestrial. I should say not ours.
Yeah, not operated by a non-human intelligence.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Non-human intelligence.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost doesn't always kind of seem like the most boring possible solution is usually the right one. It's like, what's the most boring thing? Boring thing is nothing's happening, but you're imagining dog is somehow has a telepathic link to you. Talk is the simplest, but it's also the most boring. Like, you know, these crazy fucking UFOs. I'm sorry if you've talked about this a bunch on the podcast, but the UFOs that we're seeing, that the, you know, Navy is releasing these videos of these Tic Tacs zipping around, and it's Navy pilots. It's not the people we interviewed in that show. It's Navy pilots who are like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck this is. And I have great conversations with Uber drivers. And like, we were talking about it, and this guy was like, and a lot of them are programmers and shit. And this guy was like, it's probably it's a glitch in the type of radar they're using. I think it must be a glitch. I mean, that's the most likely reality. They're not seeing it with their own eyes.
They're not?
I don't think so. I think they're just picking it up on radar. And so he's like, maybe it's a glitch, or maybe it's like...
We should find that out. Can you Google if the pilots were picking it up on radar? The pilots spotted UFO. To see if they've... Because I know some guys have spotted things with their own eyes. I know for sure some guys have.
I'm not sure if the data set. I think
it's probably relevant to the conversation, though. It's probably a good thing that we know. People listening going, yeah, what the fuck? I get super skeptical. I feel like almost like it's a plot. I don't want to go full Eddie Bravo, but I feel like when I see people talking about UFOs, I'm like, okay, what else is going on? What are you distracting me from? Is this really a big issue? I was like, is it really happening? Well, can I see it? What do you got? Got nothing? Oh, you got like some radar. You got radar from 1, 2 pilots, 3 pilots. Okay, I believe it, but I want to see more. Why do I want to see more? Like, what am I? And you'll get caught up in it. It'll chew up hours of your day.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of those guys that we ran into on that show. I felt bad for them because they didn't understand what had happened to them. They had gotten caught in this weird loop of looking for secrets and looking for mysteries to be solved and looking for hidden conspiracies, and they get caught in that. And some of that shit is real, which is part of the problem. Some of it you can come across, the Gulf of Tonkin and the Northwoods, Operation Northwoods. You can come across a bunch of them that are real and raw, and you can see how they put that together. You're like, what? You could see real crazy conspiring.
Yeah.
And then you can get lost and think it's everywhere.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like, dude, I was just.
What is this, Jamie? Oh, according to Day, the AAVs. What does that mean?
Is that the
Is
new
that a
UFO?
word? How about you say UFO? You fucks.
Come on, yeah. We really changed UFO.
We're AAVs. We don't refer to us as UFOs. These are my pronouns. Appeared at an altitude greater than 80,000 feet, far higher than commercial or military jets typically fly. Initially, the Princeton's radar team.
It's a radar, really high or Prince Story is what it's called. It's like a really high processing radar system or something.
Why is it spelled Princeton?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Prince
yeah.
Story.
Yeah, no, it is Princeton. It's just that apostrophe is in it.
Oh, okay. The radar team didn't believe what they were seeing, chalking up the anomalies to an equipment malfunction. But after they determined that everything was operating as it should, they began detecting instances which the AAVs, I want to know what the fuck that means, dropped with astounding speed to lower, busier airspace. Day approached the Princeton's commander about taking action. He said, I was chomping at the bit. I really wanted to intercept these things. What?
Yeah.
That's we have the fucking craziest people country.
I know.
Like there's an alien, man. I want to chase it. I want to catch it by the tail.
Motherfucker. I was
catch it by the tail.
Put it in a fucking
Anomalous aerial vehicles. Get the
come on.
fuck out of it.
Whoever invented that new name is an ass.
He's an asshole.
Give us a break.
I was actually the one who decided to call them AAVs.
Oh, come on.
Technically, it's not an unidentified flying object.
You're not taking our fucking UFOs, man. I'm going to fight that.
What is it again? What is the exact phrase?
Anomalous aerial vehicle.
Anomalous aerial vehicle.
It's an AAV.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Anomalous. It's an anomaly.
I want to propose a new name for UFOs. Anonymous.
$1 billion study. Two fighters were diverted to intercept one of the strange objects. When they first arrived on the scene, the pilots didn't see any flying objects, but they did observe what the lead pilot, Commander David Fravor, later referred to as a disturbance in the ocean. The water was churning with white waves breaking over what looked like a large object just under the surface.
Yeah.
Then they noticed one of the objects flying about 50 feet above the water. Fravor, the commander of the elite Black Aces Squadron, this is a goddamn Nicolas Cage movie, who was a Top Gun program graduate with more than 16 years of flying experience, described it as about 40 feet long, shaped like a Tic-Tac candy, with no obvious means of propulsion. It's white. It has no wings. It has no rotors. I go, holy shit, what is that?
Dude, companies that makes Tic Tacs, they were like, yes, calling them Tic Tacs. It's free publicity.
Totally. Tic Tac is the one sponsoring this whole deal.
You think it is?
Yeah, man. People are buying Tic Tacs right now. Listen to this. You just say Tic Tac enough. You're like, you remember those old subliminal things you used to do in movie theaters when you were watching a movie and it would say hungry, eat popcorn. Like every 100th frame they would stick like hungry, eat popcorn. They would put subliminal text on the screen. You'd be like, damn, I want some popcorn. If you just say Tic Tacs, people are buying Tic Tacs right now.
Well, we do know that pilot's got great breath, right? I mean, that's a Tic Tac man. If like the first time you see a UFO, the first thing that pops into your head is it looks like a mint. That's nuts. There had to be other ways to describe it.
He's got stock attacks, bro, for sure.
I Googled Tic Tac after he said that because I couldn't remember if they were square or if they were like They
look like I would expect a good UFO to look like.
Yeah. Kind of boring.
Yeah. Like super Apple-like. Like if Apple made a UFO.
Yeah. It's like a pretty sleek.
Yeah.
But going into the ocean, that's the part I like the best because that kind of lines up with hollow Earth theory and maybe like they're flying down. In the center of the Earth.
Of course, base in the Earth. Why wouldn't you have a base in the ocean? We never go there. Do you ever fly over? I was just in Hawaii. You fly over 5 hours of water. It's just water.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's that Strava app thing. I feel like we've talked about literally everything. You know the Strava app? Okay, good. It's great, man. I love that I have to think I'm pretty sure we've talked about this. The heat maps, the Strava heat maps that seem to show people walking under the ocean and stuff.
Walking?
Yeah. We haven't?
No.
Oh, so yeah, because like Strava, it's like I think it was Strava, right? It was like a way for you to track your steps. And some people apparently were in some bases in the Arctic or in the ocean walking around. And it showed up before they could like turn that function off for top secret facilities. Like the places blur out on Google Maps.
So do you think there's like a military base under the water somewhere where submarines go?
God, man, you know, I want to think that, but I'm
Like
always...
in that movie, The Meg?
Yeah, I think it's probably a technical error, but fuck, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's like the implication of these Tic Tacs and all of it, if you really want to like, the first to me, the most obvious one, minus the churning water evidence, is that it's some kind of equipment malfunction.
Well, it's also that they have an unlimited budget for black ops.
Yeah.
We don't know what that number is.
That's right.
We don't get to know.
Yeah.
Right? All that weird shit they do when they're making stealth bombers and all that Area 51 stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how much money goes to that? Like, what is the number? Like, let's Google this. How much does the U.S. spend on black ops?
I was going to bring this up in the middle of what you guys are talking. There's a program here that was going on. The AATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was going on and had a
Just
budget.
the AA tip.
Yeah.
I'm going to out of your money, but I'm just going to use the AA tip.
22 million is what their budget was in 2012, and this said
a lot
that
of money.
doesn't go on, but apparently it does. Luis Elizondo says it was still operating, and he is part of.
So
To the
they
Stars.
spent $2 million to see if the UFOs were a threat.
A year.
And then
I
there's the
guess.
To the Stars Academy.
Yeah.
That's
where he is now.
Tom DeLonge stuff.
Yeah. So
Well.
some of it's still going on.
Listen, I'm fucking rooting for it. I want it to be real. I would love it if it was real.
Anyway, I talked to David for 4 hours. Yeah, why did I bring that up? Because
David Fravor. Let's explain who David Fravor was.
Yeah.
He's a fighter jet pilot for the Navy, and he discovered a UFO off the coast of San Diego that, when they tracked it, went from 60,000 feet to 1 feet in a second or less. They don't know how fast it went because it's the blip of a radar, but the thing traveled in an insane way that defies all of our understanding of propulsion, all of our understanding of physics. And this thing also actively was blocking their tracking systems, which is an act of war. If it, if the Soviet Union or China was doing that, that's technically an act of war. So this thing was doing something that showed that it was intelligently aware of the fact that they are using tracking devices to try to lock in on it. And it behaved and moved in a way that defies all of our understandings of propulsion systems. It didn't give off any heat signature. And the people from the Navy that he was communicating with saying, yeah, we see these every now and again. We don't know what the fuck they are.
So the thing I was going to say, there's a lot of interesting things to say about this, but I just remembered that it felt like from that entire experience that because it didn't have a Chinese or a Russian flag on it, whatever he saw, is we tend to, just the entire system doesn't want to acknowledge it. Like, you don't know what to do with it. So they actually, most of like when you return back to the ship, and there's a bunch of pilots that that saw it. There's a lot of people that witnessed it, and then there's also the video. The majority of the people didn't know what to do with it. They just went on with their day like nothing happened. They kind of made fun of each other or whatever for yeah, sure, bro, you saw aliens, but like they didn't know how to comprehend it. That's what I meant. Like, if we encounter life from elsewhere in the universe, we think we would be as a population excited, but it feels like, just like with Bigfoot, we're excited by the mystery when they're just out of reach, but when they're like among us, there's so many mystery, incredible things among us that we just kind of take them for granted.
Yeah.
And we don't even, or ignore them, actually, even worse. We ignore them.
We get used to it.
And that was the weird thing. The biggest mystery to me about what David Fravor saw, and then also with the other videos in 2014, something like that, the Go Fast, is like, it wasn't a bigger deal than I thought it would be. Like,
Well, big deal was when the Pentagon came out and said that they have recovered some vehicles that are not of this world. Now, they didn't expand on that. There hasn't been more conversation about that. But this is a purely speculation. My speculation is they are slowly spoon feeding us information to allow people to be more comfortable with the inevitable arrival of something. And if they believe that something's coming, they don't want it to happen all at once. You see what happens just with the pandemic. You see what happens with George Floyd. You see what happens with anytime there's a big shock to our system and there's chaos in the streets, it's unmanageable. And if the UFOs came in the middle of something like that, like Jesus Christ, like who the fuck knows what would go down? If I was someone who's in a position of power, I would say, listen, this information's going to get out. It's inevitable. So why don't we let people know now? Just give them, just in words, say, we have recovered crafts that are not of this world. Say something crazy like that. Print it in the New York Times, get it out there, and then slowly drip out more information. When they see these videos, they'll get more and more accustomed to it. And then eventually to be like masks. Like you walk down the street, everybody has a mask on. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, but okay, so
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally, and this is such a fascinating question. If the government is in possession of an alien spacecraft, what is the right way to release that information?
The real problem is if it's more potent than any weapon that any civilization has currently on this planet. So if the United States is in control of this vehicle that is more potent and can do things that, like, if you really do have something that can go from 60,000 feet to 1 foot in under a second, that defies all of our understandings of speed, right? I mean, that's so fast. If you could do that,
well, the arguments against, because it could be human-created technology, too, that's just 15, 20, 30 years out. Like the stealth bomber was developed secretly. So what defies, it's our perception of its movement capabilities is
Right.
what defies. But there could be some tricks on perception that, I mean, that's the whole point with a stealth bomber, is it's difficult to detect.
sure.
And so there could be same kind of tricks on perception that you could just be playing different kinds of amazing secret human-created technology that is able to deceive the human eye.
That's a good point. I mean, but the thing about it is they tracked it. It wasn't just that it was the human eye that saw this and it's deceptive, but also like the stealth bomber. You know, the way it's designed, it blocks radar, or radar doesn't catch onto it. I think it is possible that some human-created technology that's so far advanced from anything that we're currently that we currently understand, like in terms of like mainstream propulsion experts and fighter pilots like David Fravor and military people, it is possible that some civilization, one of the big civilizations on this planet, whether it's China or Russia, has come up with something that's above and beyond what everybody knows. But it's not likely. It's not likely that they've made that much of a leap.
And you're on the other side, if it's alien technology. See, I'm more optimistic. To me, as a scientist and engineer, and actually David Fravor says this too, in this time of pandemic, in this time of like just hard negative news everywhere, there would be nothing more inspiring than the government in an inspiring, like Neil deGrasse Tyson way, coming out and saying we have not releasing the videos like they did, which is, I don't know if you know, but they just put videos on the website like there's nothing. It's just videos. It's just like with like some boring documents that describe like nothing. They're not inspiring. We're not talking about like Neil deGrasse Tyson or like Carl Sagan Cosmos style, like a beautiful, inspiring. What is more inspiring than an alien spacecraft? Look, there's a fascinating mystery here. There's nothing more inspiring to us humans than that there's life out there, intelligent life out there.
But how would you handle it? Like, let's imagine you are the leader of the United States, and you find out, or the head of the Navy military intelligence program, whoever you are, you're a person that's in a position where you realize that this thing is from another world, and you have this responsibility to try to somehow or another publicize this.
Yeah,
like
I would approach it 100% from the perspective of science. Here's a mystery. So forget weapon. Like you mentioned, there's this inclination to think like, how can I figure out a way to use this as a weapon to destroy Russia or China, as opposed to seeing it like going to Mars. colonizing Mars or going to the moon originally. There is some competitive element, but mostly it's a human pursuit of understanding and human pursuit of overcoming our limited knowledge to sort of unlock mysteries of this universe. From a physics perspective, from an engineering perspective, I would release all the information I have and release it in a way that gets the Neil deGrasse Tyson folks in the loop. So it's almost like an inspiring effort for us as a humanity to understand what the hell this thing is versus let's keep it secret and see if we can use it as a weapon.
Well, I appreciate that you think that way because you're a scientist and you're thinking about it in a very positive way to try to expand our education and our understanding of this thing, and maybe we could, use it for good. But you got to realize that anything that surpasses any and all technologies that we currently enjoy in terms of fighter pilots and jets and military superiority, if there's something that just is above and beyond all, if everybody has a Model T and you have a Ferrari, or better yet, you have a Tesla, you have a Model S, and everybody's got a Model T, you're in a race. Like, you have something that is so far above and beyond what everybody else has. It's not really a fair race. It's a joke. You'll dominate. If you have a Model T and the other person has a Tesla and you're racing and the winner gets to decide who has all the food, who gets all the women, who lives in the nice house, like, you're going to win every fucking time, right? Now, if you have a UFO, if you have a spaceship that comes from another planet where they're 1 million years more advanced than us, they've had 1 million years of evolution and technological evolution dealing with elements that are common on their planet that have to be created on a particle collider here, and they only exist for a brief amount of time. If they have something like that that's powered by something that we can't even imagine, and you figure out how to use that here on Earth, you'll have technological superiority over every other civilization,
but
every other country.
In that technological superiority, it's so funny us chimps are like still talking about our village. We want our village to be better than the next village. When there's an alien civilization that's 1 million years more advanced,
right,
that can easily destroy us if it wanted to,
right,
or actually understands the nature of existence in this universe on levels that are like we chimps talk about, like meditation and finding inner peace. Like, it understands on such a deeper level, like the nature of consciousness, the nature of intelligence, the meaning of life, all of that weird stuff that we're so obsessed with. It understands at another level. And here we are thinking about what the Russians are doing versus like understanding that mystery. I think in the face of that mystery of something that's far more intelligent than us, I think we can't. It's a ridiculous notion to think we're anything but one human village. And in terms of weapons, because you said like get all the girls or whatever, I think the weapons thing is the key thing. And we already, at least the major nations, have all the weapons we need to destroy each other. It's like we don't need extra weapons. It feels like your hypothesis would be if an alien technology was here and we'd figure it out, we'd be able to have something that destroys other chimp villages an order of magnitude more efficiently than nuclear weapons, thereby having an asymmetrical, sort of from a game theory perspective, power over other nations. And we can tell China what to do. We can tell Russia what to do. That's the perspective from which they're thinking. I'm
not even saying that they're thinking that way. I'm thinking a human would think that if they had control of this vehicle. I'm not saying that the aliens would think this way. I'm thinking also that we are constantly innovating. When you talk to people that are designing jets and planes and fighter pilots, and they're talking about new systems that they've created and new weapons. They don't just sit back and say we have enough weapons to destroy Russia and China and the rest of the world combined, so we're just going to stop. This is not how human beings innovate. Human beings are in this constant state of wanting the newest, greatest innovations. We want to improve upon every single existing invention until we hit some sort of singularity point or whatever the fuck we're striving for as a culture. And that would be that propulsion system. If you do really have something that can go from 60,000 feet to 1 feet in less than a second, you're dealing with something that we don't understand. We can't do that right now. And if you could figure out how to do that and propel people that quickly, it would be a game changer. Now, how much of a game changer? What does that mean? Well, we're in this weird place where we kind of agree to not use our best weapons, right? Like when there's a face-off between the United States jets and a Russian jet, and they come close to each other, like over China or something like that. It's weird because we're not shooting at each other, but we're real close. And even the missiles that we have, they're not nuclear. Like but we're involved in a skirmish with another country, but we don't use all our weapons. Like if we approached war the way people approached war in the Middle Ages, we would just nuke the fuck out of everybody that talks shit, right? Yeah. Anybody, what did China just say? What did they just say? Fucking launch those missiles. Fuck those people.
Instead of Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're already in this place where we don't use our best stuff. So if we had something that made us fly better and fly faster, the real question is, how much would that change the world? I don't know how much it would. If we got in control of some UFO and we're able to get to China quicker, how much of a difference would that make in terms of like the way they responded to our military? We're in this position now where there's multiple countries that have the ability to destroy other countries. There's Iran has some sort of a nuclear program. Pakistan has a nuclear program. India has a nuclear program. Of course, the United States, Russia, China. There's many countries that have the ability to fucking wipe out huge numbers of the population like that. Just launch. Just one crazy, psychotic leader who just decides to just, listen, we're going to fucking make our mark here. Everybody together on 1, 2, 3, go. Boom.
That's been in Mexico. So the he knew. Um, deep and seem to understand us. The visual. There's visual contact. Well, hey, it visual feeling. Unique. okay, for the